So we've got another video here. How much do you need to buy a property? Should be fairly interesting. A lot of people out there trying to get into their first time houses and stuff. Take a look.
How much
How
money
much
does it
money does
really,
it
really
really
take to
take
buy a
to buy a
property?
property?
Well, the
Well, the
first
first
question you got to
question you
ask
got to
yourself
ask
is
yourself is
this: Do
this:
you
Do you
already own
already
the
own a
property?
property?
If
If
no, we're
no,
going to
we're going to
discuss it on
discuss
this
it on this
column.
column.
And if
And if
yes,
yes,
we're going to
we're going to
discuss it in this
discuss it on this
column.
column.
So we're going to
So
have
we're going
two
to have two
columns. If you
columns. If you
haven't bought a
haven't bought a
property
property
before,
before,
this is how much
this is how
money
much
you
money
need
you
down.
need down.
First thing
First thing
is
is
you need
you
a
need a
minimum.
minimum.
In my
In my
perfect
perfect
world,
world,
680
680
credit
credit
score
score
and
and
higher,
higher,
so you get
so
a
you
good
get a
loan.
good loan.
After
To
that,
that,
you can
you
put
can put
down
down
3.5%
3.5%
down
down
of the
on the
purchase
purchase
price.
price.
Now,
Now,
you can
you can
buy
buy
up
up
to a
to a
one
one
to
to
four
four
unit
unit
property,
property,
single
single
family,
family,
duplex,
duplex,
triplex,
triplex,
fourplex.
fourplex.
Now,
Now,
if you're
if
first
you're the
time
first
you've never
time you
bought
ever bought it
before,
before,
I
I
recommend you
recommend
buy
you buy
something what I
something
call
what
a
I call a
turnkey
turnkey
property,
property,
something that's
something that's
ready,
ready,
moving
moving
condition,
condition,
clean. You don't
clean.
have to
You don't
mess
have to
with
miss
it. You
it.
don't have to
You don't
do
have
the
to do the
rehab. You don't have
rehab
to hire no contractor.
contractor.
Just buy
Just
it, put
buy
three
it,
and a
put
half
three and a half
percent
percent
down,
down,
and then
and
rent
then
it out
rent it
for
out
a
for
living.
living.
The good
The
thing if
good
you
thing
buy a
if you buy
single
a single
family, you
family,
can
you can
actually
actually
live in one
live
of
in
the
one of the
bedroom and
bedrooms
rent
and
out the
rent
other
out the other
bedroom,
bedroom.
or if the
Or if the
house has a
house has a
basement, you live
basement, you can live
upstairs,
upstairs,
rent out the
rent out the
basement.
basement.
But if you
But
buy
if you buy
duplex,
duplex,
triplex, or
triplex, and
fourplex, you
fourplex,
can
you can
actually put
actually
down
put
three and a
down
half
three and a
percent
half percent
down,
down,
live in
live
one
in one
unit, rent the
unit, rent
other
the
unit
other
out.
unit out.
And if you buy
And
a
if you buy a
turnkey, you don't
turnkey,
have to
you don't
fix
have to fix
anything. You
anything.
just
You just
move, and
move,
then you
and then
move
you
in,
move in,
you rent
you
out the
rent out the
other
other
space in the
space in the
property,
property,
and then you
and then
off
you
and
off
running.
and
That's
running.
what
That's
I
what
would
I would
do
do
if
if
you never
you
owned a
never owned
property
a property
before, and
before,
that's how
and
much
that's
money
how
you
much
need to
money
put
you need to
down,
put
which is
down,
three
which
and a
is
half
three and a half
percent of the
percent of
purchase
the purchase
price.
price.
How much
How
money
much
do you
money
need?
do you? Yeah, so he's not wrong there. You can buy a 1 to 4 unit property and put down 3.5%. I always think people should probably think about what that's going to cost them. A lot of times, those 3.5% down loans are more expensive on interest. You usually have to pay private mortgage insurance, so that adds up. Um, I'm not a mortgage broker, but maybe talk about that with your mortgage broker. I also remember like you used to be able to get rid of private mortgage insurance, but I think they changed that a little while back, and now you can't really get rid of it without doing a full-on refi. So keep that in mind. Sometimes it's better just to put down a little more. 10%, I think you can get into a more traditional loan, conventional loan, and not have the PMI and stuff like that. There's mortgage brokers that can help you with that. The other thing he mentions is turnkey. And I don't know, like maybe I'm old. I don't know if I've ever bought anything turnkey. Um, my wife and I's first house was a fix up. My family's always fixed up houses that they've bought. Like it's just a way to put in some equity, sweat equity, and get value out of your um, property, and hopefully get into a property for cheaper. Maybe it just looks like crap, for lack of a better word, and needs a paint job. Pretty easy deal. Sling some paint on it, looks nicer. Live in it. He also mentions, getting a roommate and then renting out other units in a 1 to 4 or a 2 to 4 plex. Certainly a good way to go. If you can get a housemate, a roommate, whatever you want to call it, and decrease your cost of living, nothing wrong with that. Um, my wife and I did that for 20 some years and probably still do it.